If you think reggae history is a straight line, like it goes from ska to rocksteady to Bob Marley and then boom, legend status. Nah, my friend. Reggae is a maze, and 1974 might be the strangest turn in the whole maze. Because in the same year that reggae was getting deeper, heavier, more spiritual, more bass-driven, reggae also started flirting with pop charts, cover songs, London dance halls, and version madness like never before. So today, we're going back to 1974, the year where reggae had one foot in the yard and one foot in the mainstream, and the music came out beautifully weird. These are 12 forgotten hits that tell the story of why 1974 was the strangest year in reggae. And trust me, some of these tunes will feel like secret treasure. All right, turn it up. Let's count it down. This one feels like standing near a sound system box so big you can't even see the top of it. And the bass is shaking your ribs like a warning. It's not just a song, it's a chant, a prayer. Big Youth comes in like a street prophet, half singing, half speaking, like he's reading the world out loud. Big Youth was one of the voices that helped shape the DJ style, the talking, commenting, and chanting that sound systems loved. And around this time, he was recording for producers like the Abyssinians, who already had that deep Rastafari energy in their music. This tune pulls from that spiritual vibe and turns it into something raw and direct. Fun fact, Big Youth was known for weaving real, everyday wisdom into records, so it could sound like street talk, scripture, and social commentary all in one breath. Why it's forgotten, underrated. A lot of people jump straight to Big Youth's bigger album moments, or they only know the greatest hits. But tunes like this are the real foundation, sound system weapon music. Today, it lives quietly in collector crates and in the hearts of serious reggae heads. Now listen, this is where 1974 gets really strange. Because while some people were chasing radio play, Keith Hudson was basically saying, "Forget the rules, I'm turning the mixing board into an instrument." This tune feels like walking through a Kingston night with no streetlights, just echoes, drums, bass, and ghosts of vocals floating by. Pick a Dub was part of Keith Hudson's early dub world, released in 1974 on his Mamba label. It's often talked about as a landmark dub project because it's not cute dub. It's heavy, it's moody, it sounds like the room is breathing. The album credits and history around it connect to serious musicians too, people like the Barrett brothers and Augustus Pablo showing up in that orbit. Fun fact, the album was reportedly hard to find at first, more like a specialty shop secret than a big release. That's the thing about early dub. It was underground genius hiding in plain sight. Why it's forgotten, underrated. Dub became huge later, when effects got wilder and the world caught up. But this early 1974 style, it gets overlooked. For real collectors though, this is the kind of record that makes you nod and say, yeah, that's the deep stuff. Okay, this is 1974 in one title. Because reggae in 1974 didn't just copy other music, it absorbed pop culture. This track feels like a kung fu movie turned into a rhythm, sharp, sneaky, moving fast, then suddenly hitting you with a heavy kick of bass. This is tied to the Upsetters and that whole Lee Scratch Perry universe, where instrumentals weren't filler, they were main events. Released as a single in 1974, it shows how reggae was already comfortable turning a rhythm into a full story without needing a big chorus. Fun fact, this is exactly the kind of tune sound systems loved, because you could toast over it, version it, replay it, and the crowd would still react every time. Why it's forgotten, underrated. Perry's catalog is so massive and so legendary that some of these in-between singles get lost. But this one is pure 1974 energy, playful, heavy, and slightly dangerous.
It's always been a quiet place to harbor you and me.
Now here comes the strange part that makes people laugh when they first hear it. Because yes, this is reggae covering a major pop hit in real time. It feels like a hot London night. Packed dance floor, sweat in the air, somebody fanning themselves with a record sleeve, and the selector smiling because he knows what he's about to drop. Rock the Boat was already a massive song in 1974, and reggae artists moved fast, cutting versions, adapting the groove, and sending it straight into the sound system circuit. This one came out as a reggae single in 1974, and it's a perfect snapshot of how reggae and pop were colliding.
You got the notion, so I like to know where you got the...
Fun fact, this is why some old heads say reggae is the best translator music. It can take a pop tune and make it feel like it was born in the yard.
And I've always had your tender lips to keep me warm. Oh, don't let this...
Why it's forgotten, underrated. Covers sometimes get dismissed as novelty. But in 1974, covers were part of survival. Labels wanted sales, selectors wanted familiar hooks, and singers wanted to show range. Today, this one is a fun secret. One of those records that makes people go, wait, this exists?
And you wouldn't even try to reach the top.
This tune is like a version you didn't know you needed. It's not begging for attention. It's just rolling, steady and confident, like it knows it's going to win the dance without trying too hard. Picture a small record shop. The owner knows you. He nods, and he slides this one from under the counter like it's a favor.
Every day they talk, wondering.
Rupie Edwards was one of those producers and artists who moved through reggae with real skill, dropping instrumentals and rhythms that could live forever in the sound system world. This cut came out as a single in 1974, and the title alone, Higher Feelings, tells you the mood. Not heartbreak, fire. Fun fact, a lot of these 1974 instrumentals weren't just B-sides. They were the beginning of version culture becoming a whole language in reggae.
Every day they talk, wondering.
Why it's forgotten, underrated. Instrumentals often get ignored by casual listeners. But selectors and singers know the truth. The right instrumental can be more powerful than a hit vocal. This is one of those.
On the bright summer night, Margaret, you are.
All right, lovers, this is where the heart comes in. Margaret is sweet, but not soft. It's that kind of reggae love song where the vocals sound like they've been through something. You can picture it. A slow dance in a blues party, couples moving like the music is carrying them, one step at a time.
Margaret, there is no one for me to find.
Dennis Walks had that voice that could cut clean through a rhythm, strong, clear, emotional. This track came out in 1974, and it's connected to the Muties camp with that classy production touch that made a love song feel expensive even on a small 7-inch.
Margaret is not enough.
Fun fact, a lot of these singles came with a string version or a version cut on the flip, because even then, producers understood that two sides of one record could serve two different dances.
To me, oh, Margaret from Nottingham.
Why it's forgotten, underrated. Dennis Walks never became the biggest name, so tunes like this get buried under the Marley and Friends story. But if you love real soulful reggae singing, Margaret is pure gold sitting in the shadows.
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. But check it, a massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C Trends family together. Your support is everything.
Now listen carefully, because this right here sounds like the future calling from the past. Gregory Isaacs is often remembered for later classics, but in 1974, he was already showing that voice, the one that could make a whole room lean in. This feels like late-night reggae, the lights low, the bass warm, and the singer sounding like he's talking directly to one person.
I'm all alone in the wilderness. Somebody help me.
Love is Overdue came out as a single in 1974, and it sits in that early Gregory era where he's building the style that would eventually make him a legend. You can hear the blueprint of Lover's reggae forming, smooth melody, strong emotion, and that clean vocal presence. Fun fact, early Gregory sides can be confusing to track because different pressings traveled through different labels and countries. That's part of why some great tunes don't get the spotlight they deserve. Why It's Forgotten, underrated. When an artist becomes iconic later, their early work gets treated like extra. But for real fans, early work is where you hear the hunger. This tune is a reminder. Gregory was always dangerous on a love song. This one is a quiet storm. I Admire You sounds like a love letter written in simple words, but it hits deep because the feeling is honest. You can picture Kingston in the background, someone leaning on a gate, watching the street, letting the song do the talking.
It's because you don't know.
This single came out in 1974, and one reason collectors love it is the pairing, the vocal on one side, and a version-style cut on the other. That was the era where the flip side could be just as exciting as the main tune. Fun fact, the B-side title, Watergate Rock, is a perfect little 1974 time capsule. Because yes, reggae producers were naming versions after world events and headlines. That's how plugged in the culture was.
Gets higher. It's because I love you, girl.
Why It's Forgotten, underrated. Larry Marshall has respected classics, but he's not always in the mainstream reggae conversation. And that's a shame, because songs like this prove something. You don't need hype to make a timeless tune. For real heads, this one is a secret weapon.
Two little children were playing at Mr. Hunt. One jump up.
Now we need a little humor, because 1974 reggae wasn't just militant and spiritual, it could also be sharp and funny. Sixpence feels like a man telling a story with a grin, but you can still hear the struggle under it, like, yeah, we're laughing, but we're not joking. Picture a yard scene, people listening, reacting, talking back to the record like it's a live conversation.
Rock. Up came a bumblebee and bite them on their cocktails.
Max Romeo released Sixpence as a single in 1974, and it's one of those tunes that sits outside the big obvious hits people mention. The production credit points to K Chin on the Aki label, another sign of how many corners reggae had in that era.
Back and touchy and she country girls, country boys sitting on a rock.
Fun fact, the B-side is called Eating Competition. That alone tells you the tone. This is reggae storytelling with personality.
And it will catch no flies. Two little boys were fighting.
Why It's Forgotten, underrated. Max Romeo's name gets pulled toward other famous songs later on, so earlier singles like this fade out of casual memory. But if you love reggae that feels like real people talking about real life, this one is priceless. Okay, this is pure tenderness. This tune feels like a slow walk home after a dance, when the night air cools your skin and you're thinking about somebody you miss, somebody you can't call, because pride is in the way. Here's what makes it extra 1974 strange. Winston Groovy first recorded the song earlier, but it was re-recorded and released again in 1974, and that later version helped give it new life. It came out through Trojan Circles on the Explosion label, produced by Sidney Crooks, a key figure in UK reggae history. Fact: years later, UB40 would record their own well-known version, so a lot of younger listeners recognize the melody, but they don't always trace it back to Winston Groovy's earlier work. Why it's forgotten, underrated. When a later cover becomes the famous one, the original voice can get pushed aside. But Winston Groovy's version has a special warmth, like a man singing straight from a tired heart. For lovers, reggae fans, this one is essential. Now this is one of the sweetest voices ever to land on a reggae rhythm. Susan Cadogan sings like she's trying not to cry, but she's too honest to hide it. This tune feels like a rainy window and a dim lamp. Heartbreak with soft edges. Hurt So Good came out in the UK in 1974, and it's strongly tied to Lee "Scratch" Perry, with Perry credited as producer and arranger on key releases. The production has that Perry touch, clean but still slightly mysterious, and the track later became a big UK chart hit in the mid-70s, reaching the UK top tier. Fun fact, this song is part of that weird 1974 pattern where a tune could get little love in one place and then explode somewhere else. Reggae traveled like that, by sound system, by suitcase, by record shop whispers. Why it's forgotten, underrated. People talk about Perry, they talk about dub, they talk about the Black Ark, but they don't always talk enough about Susan's performance. And without her voice, this whole record falls apart. This isn't just a classic, it's a masterclass in reggae heartbreak.
The finest cheers I ever knew.
And here it is, the tune that might be the clearest proof of why 1974 was so strange. Because this is reggae, covering a soft rock song, and then walking straight into the mainstream like it owns the place. This record feels like Sunday morning heartbreak. Quiet streets, slow thoughts, and a voice that sounds like it's carrying a lifetime inside it.
You don't hear a word they say.
Ken Booth's Everything I Own was released on Trojan in 1974, produced by Lloyd Charmers, and it became a full-on UK pop moment, reaching #1 on the UK singles chart and staying there for weeks. That's not a small achievement. That's reggae breaking through a door.
To talk to you words again.
Fun fact, if you ever want to understand how powerful Trojan Records was in the UK, this is the example. A Jamaican singer, reggae rhythm, heartbreak lyrics, and the entire country singing along. Why it's forgotten, underrated. Yes, it's famous to collectors and older fans, but it's not always treated like the historical earthquake it was. People say reggae went global, like it happened slowly. But in 1974, with this tune, it happened in real time.